What is up, booktube? It is Monty, and today I'm back once again with another video. This is probably my most ambitious project that I've done to date. And I say that having already done that Lee Bardugo project, which is, that's probably no longer technically it will be like the longest single vlog that I have done on my channel. It's like 2 hours. This, though, I think has the potential to be longer, but it's going to be broken up. So, judging by the title, I have taken some inspiration from Chandler Ainsley, who I saw her do this video, like, I want to say it was like a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. Apparently, when I was searching on the YouTube, she did another one of these like a couple months back that I just, I didn't see. So I'm going to have to tune back in for that one because I really liked the first time she did this, and it's a choose your own adventure style vlog. Now for me in the month of October, I kind of want to catch up on some of the books that I've requested on NetGalley. Some of these, all of these. I have 12 books planned for this little adventure that we're going to go on kind of together. That have all come out. They've all been released and they are just sitting there unreviewed, unread, with my NetGalley score being ass. So we're going to take this, we're going to make it a fun time. So just like Chandler's video, in this, I'm going to be starting What Beauty There Is by Corey Anderson. This is set in the state of Idaho. We follow Jack, who is... he's not an only child. He's like an older teenager. I think he's younger than 18 based on what I read earlier. But his mother commits suicide at the start of the book, so definitely trigger warning for that. And he's trying to take care of his younger brother, Maddie, who he doesn't want to be separated from. There is a briefcase of stolen money that they may or may not be looking for. Hijinks and deadly people may not be after them. So that's what this is. I'm going to read the first 50% of this and the first 50% of the project by Courtney Summers. This is Courtney Summers' most recent release. So this came out earlier this year and I didn't get around to it, but here we are. I'm going to read the first 50% of that. There'll be, after this intro, you're going to see the vlog clips, which, spoiler alert, I've already read the 50% of What Beauty There Is, and I'm 5% into the project. And at the end of this video, you're going to see two end screens and things. So you'll see one where you can continue on with What Beauty There Is if you think this is the book that I'm going to enjoy more, or if you think that I'm going to enjoy the project, you can click on that end title and it will take you to me reading the second 50% of this. And if you guess correctly, then at the end of the video, you will be taken on another journey and you will continue on. But if you guess incorrectly, then there will be no video. You will have to go back and continue on, and hopefully after this you'll have had a good time. I know I had a good time a year and a half ago when I was trying to guess which ones that Chandler was going to enjoy the most. This is going to be my most ambitious project yet because it means 12 reading vlogs happening in the month of October, which I've never done before. So pray for me. Keep me in your thoughts and prayers. I mean, by the time you're watching this, I will have already done it. Like, it will have been accomplished. But please keep me in your thoughts and prayers. I'm going to let Past Monty take over, and he's going to tell you guys his thoughts on What Beauty There Is. So this feels a little weird because I've never started filming like a vlog clip before I've filmed an introduction before. So I'm assuming this is okay. I'm gonna attempt to make this not weird. If I failed, it's because I've never attempted to do this, and I probably won't ever attempt to do this. I listened to 38% of What Beauty There Is, which I'm actually kind of proud of, honestly, because not only did I listen to that, I also finished These Violent Delights while at work today. So the fact that I got so many of these books on audio is really going to save this vlog. Let's go to the premise. Let's actually go to the premise before I go to initial thoughts. So here we have our protagonist, Jack, who starts off the book finding his mother having committed suicide. This is a very, I would call it, graphic depiction of her hanging from the ceiling. So, one, know that going in. I can't imagine that that's not, I haven't looked at, well, they didn't read it, so I would assume there's actually not a content warning in the book, but maybe there is in the synopsis that I read when I requested this on NetGalley, because future Monty should also note that this choose your own adventure theme is me trying to raise my NetGalley score, because it's ass right now. So that's why this is such a, there are so many books in this vlog, because I'm trying to not have an ass score. So Jack finds his mother having committed suicide. His father not really in the picture because he was arrested. He's a felon. Sadness. Through the course of the novel, we have found out that he was involved in some kind of robbery at a pawn shop and like maybe murdered somebody. There's also a second narrator that feels like in the future that was related to that situation. I'm not entirely sure how this is going to work into the narrative. Where I'm at currently, Jack has run away from home because, like I said, his father's in prison. His mother just committed suicide. They already only had like $12 to their family name. They were getting evicted from the bank, like by the bank. The bank was gonna come and take the house. It's a mess. It's a whole mess. We found out that the uncle is also like a meth dealer. Like, they live in Idaho, and apparently everybody's on meth here, or at least in their little circle of acquaintances. So it's not very good home life. And so Jack is trying to keep him and his brother together, and he's trying to like take care of him, which means that he's run away to a house that is abandoned because there was a house fire. It's sad. Super sad, honestly. But I don't know. I don't know where it's gonna go from here. Currently, Jack is left for dead in the snow. So, hate that for him. I will say this is like off to a pretty a rocket start. When I was picking the books that I was going to sort of have go, I don't want to say head-to-head, but head-to-head essentially for the vlog to work out, I did, some of them I think are better matchups than others, and I picked What Beauty There Is and The Project, because one, they were kind of like the leftovers, but it's working out that they both have like this kind of thrilling, action-y plot, I'm assuming. I haven't read The Project yet. I'm going to start that when I get to the 50% mark here. Might be a little bit more than 50% because I'm going to stop at the end of whatever chapter I need to stop at, you know. That's just going to be what it is. But I'm excited. I'm excited that this is like a better matchup than I initially thought, because again, I totally forgot what this book was about. I think somebody tweeted that it was like a read now pick maybe, and so I picked it up. But I'm entertained. What is up? So I am at the 49% mark. I'm gonna call it 50 for the purposes of this vlog, because it's up right at the end of a chapter, so it feels perfect to end this, let y'all get my thoughts. So this is The Beauty There Is, or What Beauty There Is. So when I last updated you guys, our main character, Jack, had been kind of left for dead in this snowy Idaho wilderness. And now, you know, it's only 50%, so he hasn't died yet. I do think it was a little miraculous, but I'm gonna let it be. I'm gonna let it be, because I have a feeling that it's only gonna get more outlandish from here. So the basic premise is, like I said, his parents are out of the picture. they're struggling for money, and his father went away for this murder of a pawn shop or whatever. And I think that this is actually supposed to be them looking for the briefcase full of money so he and his little brother can like live together or something. I don't quite know how believable this is. I believe certain aspects of it. So I believe like the meth ring that they're embroiled in. I believe that their mother could be so sad because her husband wasn't going to get paroled that she would, and she was already an addict, so she had all these compounding issues. I believe that she would take her own life. I believe that Jack would want to look out for Maddie and such. But I do believe, I don't know, here's the thing. It's kind of like all cops are bad. Child Protective Services is not always the greatest. They're just not. So I understand not wanting to get sucked into there. But at the same time, I'm like, y'all are literally squatting. This is weird. This girl, Ava, who we kind of get like glimpses into her perspective. And but her perspective seems to be from like the future looking back. I almost wish that it was omitted entirely because I don't like it. I don't understand the point of it. It's not adding anything for me. In fact, it's kind of dragging my enjoyment down. So I have the audio out, so that's why I've been speeding through this. And the narrator here is the same, I think it's the same duo that narrated Sadie. I mean, I know that Sadie had like a full cast or whatever, but one of them I believe is Dan Bittner. And then the female narrator here, I believe voiced Sadie, like did all the bits for her. And I think that might be dragging down my enjoyment just a little bit because I hated Sadie. I hated that book so much, which I also thought was a little bit outlandish and unrealistic. But that doesn't bode well for the project. So I don't know how y'all are gonna choose at the end of this video. We'll see. Hopefully you choose correctly. But I'm gonna start listening. Well, actually I'm gonna go to Starbucks, then I'm gonna go make some lunch. But I will be listening to the project later on today. So the next clip should be me updating you with my thoughts on that. Okay, so I've only read 7% of this, but I wanted to check in before I ran into work because I'm probably going to listen for quite a bit later. And I want to have some initial thoughts on the project recorded. So we know that right now our main character is Lo, whose parents died when she was like 17. Was she 17? No, was it? I don't know. They died when she was in her teen years. And she has an older sister, Beatrice, B, I believe, who was kind of like the wild child, the older sister who didn't really want to have a baby sister. That's all we know. Right now, Lo is working at like this small magazine that's like a hot shot thing as the assistant to the editor-in-chief owner man. But she wants to be a writer. She thinks that's like her calling. Her parents died in a car accident that she was also in. So I feel like she has some facial disfigurement as a result of that accident. I tweeted this out. I don't understand. Well, I do understand why so much, like we have so many adult characters in YA. And here I kind of appreciate it because if this was like an actual child about to like go undercover in a cult, I would be like, bitch, what are we doing? But at the same time, I'm like, I almost wish this had been marketed as adult. And I say the same thing about Mary's books, and kind of like there are sometimes I read a book with like adult protagonists in the YA section, like Christine Riccio's books also, because those characters, like in her first book, those characters are 26 at the end. It's wild. So it's like, I understand why they're in YA, and sometimes it's easier for others. Like Emergency Contact, I understand how that appeals to a YA demographic. Permanent Record, I kind of get it. But at the same time, it's like these are adults who are doing adult things, who are having adult experiences that, yes, teenagers can relate to. And maybe it's easier to publish something with like YA with adult crossover appeal in certain genres like mystery thriller, like just regular contemporary, than it is to publish a fantasy with YA crossover. Because it's like, Brandon Sanderson's books are in the adult section, but they have, at least Mistborn is like all over YA booktube. So it's like, I don't know. It bothers me a little bit
a little bit, it bothers me because I feel like we could just publish this as adult and call it a day. But so far, there's nothing like bad. It's only been 7% though, so she hasn't left to investigate this cult, which I think is what people have said happens here. It is what it is. I'll check in after work with more thoughts, more updates, see how far I've gotten. My plan is to get to the 50% mark today so I can continue on and start finishing shit, because I would like, this is the only video where I have to read 50% and then stop. So I'm trying to get this part over with so I can move on and start finishing things.
I just got home from work and I have read 50% of The Project by Courtney Summers. So let's talk about it, shall we? In my last update, I said basic premise, essentially. I was a little bit incorrect. So we did have the 2 prologue moments that were narrated from B's perspective, but the story is told from Lo, who is her younger sister, who was involved with that car accident that claimed both of their parents. And it is around that same time that Beatrice found herself getting involved with the Unity Project, which is the is it a cult, is it not a cult, at the center of this story. In the present day, we are following Lo, who is 19. She is working at this up-and-coming small magazine press type situation where she's trying to get a staff writer position, but she's currently like an administrative assistant, so trying to climb that corporate ladder. And at the start of the story, we have one of the Unity Project's member, I think his name was like Jeffrey Jeremiah something, sorry sir. He like jumps in front of a train and Lo is there, and that kind of is what pulls her to this like annual public gathering that the Unity Project hold. And it is through that and then a series of like events that lead her into getting this exclusive interview cover story like profile of the leader of the Unity Project. And along the way, we've gotten some like flashback chapters from B's perspective from when she was joining the Unity Project. And it's really clear to the reader through these moments that this is a fucking cult. Like, it's a cult. And I think that what's going to happen with Lo is that she's going to eventually fall prey to the same cult leader that her sister did, who like, it was like there's definitely like a weird, I think there's like an age gap grooming type situation that's happening here, because again, B's parents died when she was like 18, I want to say. So like she might have been an adult, but she was already talking to the Unity man through all of this. Like the entire time her sister was in the hospital, and like immediately after, she was already connected to this man. No, she had to be like 16, because then later on we find out that B gave birth to a daughter, Emmy, and she was 18 when that happened. So she had to have been a child when the accident occurred. Or me and Courtney Summers are both bad at math. The thing I hate about this is that the audiobook is not separated into separate chapters, and so maybe the book isn't either. And so what happens is, like, here in the book, where there's this clear separation between this happening here, like this scene and this one, by this lovely page break, I don't get that in the audiobook. And so, like, it's really jarring sometimes listening, because there will be like a scene that Lo and the cult leader are having together, and then the audiobook narrator reads the next sentence, and Lo's at work and her boss is angry because he had to make his own coffee. And I'm like, it's really jarring, and I don't like it, and it's actually bothering me quite a bit. So I hate that for me. I'm not sure how invested I am in the idea of Lo falling prey to the same cult leader that her sister did. There's also just like a bunch of other subplots that are happening, more so than I think you usually find in a YA book. Although again, these characters are so old. Like, Lo is 19 in this story, and her sister is in her early mid-20s. So I'm just like, I already talked about this in my first update, but it's like, why? Like, why Wednesday books? This is Wednesday, right? Let me see. Where's the publishing information? Where is it? Yeah, Wednesday books. Like, I don't know. It must be easier to market this to a young adult audience, but I don't know. So this one is not, I'm not having the best time with this, but because I've read 50% of both of these, this is where this introductory video ends. So at the end, you'll get my usual outro. The music is going to play. And if you think that I'm going to enjoy the project more, you can click and watch. I don't know if it's going to be, I might just vlog for the rest of this one. Going forward, they might just be more like sit down review style videos. We'll see what happens. But if you think I'm going to like the project more, you will click on the video that'll lead you there. There'll be a nice little thumbnail of me holding up the project. I don't know what that thumbnail is going to look like yet, but you'll see it. It'll be very clear that this is a project video. But if you think I'm going to enjoy the rest of What Beauty There Is, where we are following Jack and the suitcase of money and the abandoned parents, both of these have dead parents. Well, I guess technically the dad is alive in this one, but he's he's not in the picture, so that's interesting. But if you think I'm gonna like this one more, you'll click on that thumbnail, and if you're right, at the end of that video you will find, a lovely trail of videos. But if you're wrong, you'll have to go back and try again. So hopefully you guys are gonna have a good time. Hopefully I'm gonna have a good time. And if you don't, you can leave a comment on any one of the videos and I will see it. But that's what I got for you guys this time. Thanks for playing along, and I'll see you guys on the journey.